Diabetes, heart disease, things like that are deadly. For me, I didn't personally feel like it was an integrity or in residence to just be wiggling my ass on TikTok. People love entertainment and good for them. God bless them. It has its place. I personally feel a complete disconnect. In the mid-2010s, like 2015, 2016, this was shortly after my mother passed, I had put together some online diabetes blood sugar challenges and Facebook groups and quizzes, and I was driving paid ads to them. Here's the thing. The people I was working with then and getting advice from business, I really wish I could get every dollar back because it was a complete waste of money. Talk about pissing money up a rope. Who gives anybody the advice if they say they're great at lead gen and marketing and promotions to put something together that has absolutely no paid offer on the other end?
You learned that lesson years ago, girl. Last year, I did a whole podcast that had no call to action, out here just talking. Marketers aren't perfect. We make mistakes. Be kind.
Your brethren. Okay.
Be kind. You were very jaded, though, by your experiences with agencies.
Definitely.
And that's part of the learning and testing process when you're trying to grow, when you're trying to evolve. You're paying for this learning lesson. Right. So you were investing in ads, investing in all these like funnels and stuff.
Yeah. So that's like 2015, 2016. What I noticed from that whole experience, the things that actually worked were the things that I did. Anything that I'd hired other people to do, whether it was copywriters, create ads, it didn't do anything. The ads I created, the copy I wrote was what actually converted. Now what's working in this era for me is my YouTube channel. That is going great. In naturopathic medicine, we have 7 core tenets, one of which is docere, a Latin word that means doctor. The word doctor in Latin means to teach. And that's what I'm doing on YouTube. I'm teaching. The comments are so gratifying. There are no trolls. It's just a wonderful platform for me. Because you're right. I don't want to be just dancing and wiggling my ass.
Well, I mean, we like to wiggle a little bit, but not for Instagram.
I can party, right? We can all party.
But wait. So before you get into what work is, because you blazed by 4 years of you literally testing between summits, different funnel types, using masterclasses and webinars. You've definitely fought the good fight. Tell us some of the things that you tested over the years that you would recommend, or maybe recommend a different approach, and then kind of get into what you're doing with YouTube.
Diabetes, heart disease, things like that are deadly. For me, I didn't personally feel like it was an integrity or in residence to just be wiggling my ass on TikTok. People love entertainment and good for them. God bless them. It has its place. I personally feel a complete disconnect. And in 2022, I created my first summit. I was the host for my first online summit. I couldn't help but notice in the summit space, it is very white. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think it keeps a lot of people out who look like me and you because we don't see us reflected. And being visible and being there is important because I can't tell you how many people behind the scenes would reach out to me as I appeared podcast and then as I created my own summit. They were so glad because they don't feel particularly connected, or some of the experiences people talk about, they just don't feel their experience is being honored or reflected or included. So in that, I've done now 3 online summits, and I will probably do a 4th one as my next book comes out. Part of this was making relationships with other health professionals and colleagues, getting out in the world, meeting and greeting, being able to be in position to have a book deal with the largest publisher in the world, having a fine, fantastic literary agency, all of those connections, having other people behind the scenes be allies and cheerleaders and door openers rather than door closers or door hiders. Door hiders are the ones who never ever let you know they could be helpful, and door closers are the ones who are like, oh hell no, I am never going to be helpful to you for whatever reason.
We don't hang out with those people. We don't know nothing about those people.
They do reveal themselves. When people show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them. So for the part of our audience that doesn't maybe understand what a summit is, there are organizations that have these online multi-day educational summits delivered in a pre-recorded fashion. It's meant to grow your email list. It's meant to try to sell your products. It is a heavy lift though. For you, what has been the best part of figuring out the summit? Like, do you feel like you found your stride?
In terms of audience growth and lead gen, I think it's been really a great thing, and I'm glad I've done it. It absolutely led to the book deal. The book deal would not have happened without that very clear, tangible, measurable audience growth year over year from summit to summit to summit. So this next summit then will be lead gen with pre-orders for my upcoming book that'll be released in late January of 2026. Remember, my mission is to help 3 million more people. It's a big mission, but here's the good news. I'm at the right place, right time. I am in business and spiritual and mental shape for that. And the sad news is that so many more people need the help than when I even first thought of this.
Oh, I know, right?
It's shocking. But what we're going to turn that around. Yourself and other people who are working with me are up front or behind the scenes. We are going to turn it around because we have to. We can't have it be that more than half the population is sick with some kind of blood sugar illness. We just can't have that.
When you actually sit back and look at your big picture vision for what you want in your business and your legacy, a lot of times that's outside of the brick and mortar. That is going to a much wider audience. What do you have to unlock in yourself yourself so you can be the vessel to get the message out there. A lot of people, when they have a marketing campaign or something that fails, they quit or they pivot or, they start investing in the wrong things. What I can appreciate about you is that you continue to move forward because you have the mission. That's why we're always talking about our practitioner of color initiatives and ways to get you seen so people can actually hear, oh my God, there is an alternative to medications and things for, getting this beaties, that sugar out of the blood. So let's kind of jump into some of the marketing stuff. We've evolved into YouTube, and I know you're a fairly new YouTuber and you have found your stride. What are some hacks you have for folks that maybe think YouTube is where they should play?
My advice is don't give up. You got to be willing to be flexible and find what feeds your soul and where it is your audience wants to engage with you, because that's been all the difference. Rather than it have it be looky-loos or trolls or just dumb stuff that goes on. The thing I've noticed with YouTube, people really are there on Google things because they're looking for answers. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for inspiration. When I initially had that YouTube channel, again, being an OG, this was back in 2012, 2013. My last podcast upload, I think it was a prior niche of mine, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. I was just flattened at the death of my mother. I'm an only child. So it just really hit me. And in that moment, I was also called by Hollywood. It was just a wild moment. You talk about emotional elasticity.
Yeah.
The highs and the lows at the exact same time. I was like, oh my God, this is brutal. Right?
Right. Everything's just happening at once.
Here's the reality. Many of the women who struggle with polycystic ovarian syndrome, they unfortunately become type 2 diabetics. Why don't I take that same initial audience, even though it's a decade old, and just restart the engine? Well, sure enough, that turned out to be strategically a good thing. So rather than just start from scratch, which would have been fine as well, I decided to then change the content and focus in on type 2 diabetes, fixing your blood sugar, pre-diabetes, type 3 diabetes, which is Alzheimer's, right? Because I'd already done that audience building work, right, with the prior summits. So now people are seeing me consistently on a Facebook page, on Instagram, on TikTok, a little bit on LinkedIn. Still working on that.
You need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. LinkedIn over TikTok, girl. The long form video that you're doing on YouTube, that would go really, really nicely on LinkedIn. When folks are on LinkedIn, they really are learning. There's no trolls on unless you're being controversial. So, girl, get your butt on LinkedIn. And off of TikTok. With YouTube, there's so many ways to optimize a page better than you could ever do with Instagram, better than you could ever. It's like your own little mini website. What's your marketing strategy within YouTube that we can all learn from?
Of all the social media platforms, it's got the best data and analytics. It's just like looking at CGMs, right? Continuous glucose monitors. When you look at what your blood sugar data has to say, then you don't have to wonder what the hell's going on with your blood sugar. YouTube has a studio app where all your data and analytics resides, and you can go and see by breakdown what parts of the world are engaging with your content, gender, what's the best time of day to upload? Where are your people? Are they watching you on a tiny phone or are they watching you on their living room TV? And when I saw that 54% of my audience regularly watches me in their living room TV, I'm like, oh, I'm in their home. Oh, now we're comfortable. Because now I know they're actually paying attention. They're sitting there in their recliner. They got their feet up. I'm like, okay, now we can really vibe. We can really connect so far. And I'm going to use that now to do targeted ads back to my offers because I feel like once people are warm and engaged, they understand my point of view. They realize that I'm sharing with them the things about nutrition, meal timing, stress, sleep, exercise, especially strength training, right?
All of it, yes.
I'm on their side. They get it, I'm not shaming, I'm not blaming, and I'm not judging. I feel like people make way too many assumptions about people who have diabetes. And a lot of these people's backstories, they didn't wake up in the morning saying, how can I screw up my health today? Oh, hell no, that's not right. That's so disrespectful. At least listen and find out what people's journey has been like.
If you found this clip from the Power Moves Health Marketing Podcast to be helpful, then check out the next video or watch the full episode here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next big move in health marketing. Thanks for watching.